Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today we're going to be creating some super fun DIY travel themed cards using Papertrey Ink July 2024 release products. And as always, even though I am using some new products here, hopefully this inspires you to maybe utilize some things that you even have on hand to create cards with a theme that you may not think of necessarily for birthday or like a celebration kind of card, which is what I'm creating both of my cards today, but it definitely works for a super unique idea. We're going to start by building our background on these 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panels of craft cardstock. I love using craft cardstock as an option for my card bases. And so that is definitely what we're doing today. These are the Incredible Views stencils. This is a 5-piece stencil collection that is going to work to build some amazing mountain views. Now, I needed a congratulations card to send to a couple who are moving to the mountains in Colorado, and so I thought this was absolutely perfect for that. I am using Distress Oxide inks with these stencils, and you can see how easy it is to build this mountain scene. I am going to go ahead and do 2 cards at once. I often, as I talk about all the time here, I like to do more than 1 card, especially if I can find ways to make the same design work for multiple occasions. In this case, a congratulations card, a congratulations celebration card, and a birthday celebration card. I think it works great for both. So I have done the ground in gathered twigs, the first layer of greenery in crushed olive, forest moss for the mountains, a little mustard seed for the sunshine, and then we're going in with white pigment ink and a picket fence pouncer to add our white pigment ink for our clouds. I'm going to do this for both backgrounds. Now, I wanted to create kind of a simple version of a text background over the sky only on my card. So you probably know, if you follow me at all, I love to create text backgrounds, often with an all-over text stamp. This time we're doing 1st and 2nd generation stamping and picking and choosing where we want this small sentiment to go. So I am using Enjoy the Journey, and I'm stamping this all over the upper part of the card, not where our scene is, but kind of where the sky is. This is a great way to customize where exactly you want your text to go, as well as create an all-over text background if you don't have a text stamp. The 1st generation is inking that stamp once and stamping. 2nd generation is stamping it again without re-inking. So if you've never heard that term, hopefully that helps explain it. Now that we have our 2 backgrounds, we are going to build our tags that go on the front. If you guys know me at all, you know that tags are my jam. So I saw this set and I instantly was in love with the Going Places stamp set and coordinating dies, because you can build all kinds of amazing tags. First up, I'm going to create this kind of postcard or mailed type of border, like sending it through the mail, cancellation, I guess, along the bottom of each of my backgrounds using Fawn LOBSTER red ink and just stamping it right over where we've inked. This adds a fantastic pop of color to our card, as well as kind of grounds the whole design. Next, I've die cut a couple of tags from the Going Places dies. And what is awesome is there's multiple tags. There's 3 different tags on this. And then there are different ways to customize with hole reinforcements, etc. So I have the main tag from Craft and the top of the tag from White. Now I'm going to make a little adjustment here in that I stamped the destination along the bottom part of this tag with some Fawn walnut ink, and I originally stamped Adventure Awaits with pizza crust. I actually made a mistake in my stamping, or just didn't like my stamping on these tags. And so I die cut them and I started over. And when I started over, I decided to change the color of Adventure Awaits to, now I can't think of the ink color. I will pop it on the screen. It's not avocado, I don't think. Maybe it is. But I decided to change it to a green because I really felt like it needed to be changed. So I stamped Enjoy the Journey and the Destination with walnut. The Adventure Awaits is going to be in our green color of ink, which really ties in beautifully to our stenciled scene. And then we're going to work on some of the rest. Now, the reason I mention this partly is that I talk about this when I am sharing Papertrey ink projects, that sometimes I really like using acrylic blocks. You're going to see me use acrylic blocks when we do a few other things. But I tried to stamp this little border along the bottom edge of my tag, and it was wonky on both. So I switched back to my Misty. Old reliable Misty. So I stamped the little decorative border with LOBSTER ink again. And now comes the really fun part of embellishing and adding all of the things. So this little happiness stamp here, I'm going to stamp in my green ink as well. And there's all kinds of different words in the Going Places stamp set, or different ways to embellish the bottom, or pardon me, embellish those little sections, which I love. And then I loved the little cancellation that says Life's Greatest Adventures, and I stamped that with pizza crust ink. So it's going to be very light and faded in the background, which I love. It looks a little darker here than what it looks like in the finished card example, and it will fade as that ink is absorbed into the cardstock. Artichoke. There's the color of ink right there. I knew it was a food item. I just couldn't think what it was. So there I stamped happiness with my acrylic block. I do find that the easiest. And I'm going back. I had to die cut the little tag topper here and place that on the top. Now, there is also this great little, there's several little borders, and I wanted to utilize all of them. I had so much fun with these tags. You guys are going to have so much fun with these too. Literally so many ways to use these. I think there's a lot of different ways. You could probably mix and match with stamp sets you already own. If you need to make them seasonal tags or what have you, I think that would be amazing. So I stamped this kind of off to the side, going through the center of that seal off to the right using LOBSTER ink. And then we're going to take this other little border, and this is an example of sometimes your Misty isn't your best friend. These little delicate borders can be kind of tricky to get lined up. And so what I ended up doing was placing it on my acrylic block, and I'm going to stamp this with pizza crust ink along the bottom edge of the white part of my tag. Now, I have not used white cardstock anywhere else on the tag, but we did use white ink for the stenciling of the clouds and the stamping of Enjoy the Journey. So I feel like it all ties together really, really nicely. I also think these little tags would be cute to tie on to packages, or if you have someone going on a fun trip and you give them a little gift or something, you could totally use more like the Paradise Awaits or Bon Voyage or something like that. There's even another layering piece for these tags, which I will be using die cut from the craft cardstock. So we will do that here in just a minute. To finish embellishing my tags, I am stamping, and I realized I did the whole reinforcer, and that's not what I needed yet. We are going to need that in a minute, but not quite yet. I want to stamp the little heart circle in LOBSTER, and we're going to die cut it with the coordinating die and glue it in place. You could also just stamp it right on your tag, but I did like to have a couple of pieces adhered to my tags that were an extra piece. And then I have some number 2 pencil ink, and the little arrow I'm stamping with that, and we're going to die cut that coordinating piece as well. So both the arrow and the little heart in the circle will be glued to our tag. I did stamp them on the craft cardstock. So if you don't want to do that extra step, you could always just stamp them right on the tag. So I'm going to glue them in place. We're going to put the little arrow here. And then we're going to put the little heart in the center of the seal, kind of with the little diagonal cancellation line or whatever coming out from it. It really worked out so super cute. These were kind of one of those projects that I felt like the more you stamped and the more you added to these tags, the cuter and cuter they got. So really, really fun. And then here's that little reinforcer that I'm going to glue to the top. I just love that Papertrey has thought of everything with these tags. Absolutely amazing. Now I do have a long little skinny tag too. And for the long skinny tag, that one's going to be a little more simple. Look how cute. You could even just do the one tag if you wanted to. Definitely up to you, whatever you want to do there. Now, I do want to give this a little bit more of a card feel. Like the tag is cute, but it's more of a decorative aspect, I suppose, of the card rather than the sentiment. So I want to stamp greetings from the This Is Big Sentiments Celebrate stamp set. And we're going to stamp the smaller phrase along the bottom edge of each card using Lawn Fawn Walnut ink. And I did switch out this part of the greeting. On one card, I stamped New Beginnings, and on the other card, I stamped Your Birthday. This Celebrate stamp set is going to be fantastic for graduations, retirement, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, anything. It kind of covers the whole gambit. There's a couple of different Celebrate words in here, dies that coordinate. The die set even has a third, I believe, die. So you can do more of a die cut sentiment or a stamped and die cut sentiment, whatever you like. I am going to stamp the word celebrate using my green ink, and then we are going to die cut it. Now, word of caution. You're going to see this here on screen. I wasn't thinking, and the coordinating die actually is not an outline, it's solid, and so it's going to be hard to see through. And there is a little hack if this happens to you. I know I've shared this in the past, but it's been a while since I have had to do this, so I wanted to go ahead and show that to you here. So here you can see the die, it's solid, you can't see through it to line it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to die cut the word from this little piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut like a little notch, I suppose, out of it. So let me show you that. You want to keep the negative. And then I'm going to line up the negative part with one of my stamped greetings. We're going to place the die where it goes. And because we've cut that notch, we're very easily able to remove the cardstock and then run our greeting through the die cut machine. So if that ever happens to you, you can very easily do the same thing. Then I could actually use that extra celebrate word if I wanted to give my die cut, my stamped and die cut greeting a little bit more dimension. I could have just glued that to the back. I actually just saved it to make another card later and just stamp my greeting right on it. But that is another idea for that. So hopefully that helps you guys if you ever have that happen, so that you can easily fix your maybe stamping and die cutting. I don't want to say mistake, but it kind of does. It's a little helpful tip. Okay, so we have that now. Let's go ahead and stamp our long skinny tag. This long skinny tag has awesome detailing around all of the edges. And again, there is a hole reinforcer die that you can use with this. I'm actually going to stamp that hole reinforcer that I started to stamp earlier around the hole on mine instead of die cutting another piece, just as an option. We're also choosing some long skinny sentiments to place on this. So for one of them, I used congratulations on your new adventure. And on the other, I said you are definitely going places. So Just a fun little way to customize that long, skinny greeting. And I stamped those with walnut ink, and then I'm going to take the hole reinforcer stamp instead of the die and die cut that with some lobster ink around the holes on each of these. That is going to give us all of the pieces we need then to go ahead and put our cards together. And I'm going to pull some gems and a couple of different twines from my stash, and we're going to pop up our tags right over the sky section on our cards. And these line up perfectly. Just a really fast way to add that hole reinforcer to your tags. And again, it's just all of those small details that Papertrey ink does so well with their stamp sets that really makes them set apart from the rest. Okay, I'm loving this. Let's go ahead and glue down our greetings. I do need to use a piercing tool to pop out some of those small little areas in our letters. And once we have those glued down, I'm going to take some Lawn Trimmings twine, which this is the little bit thicker twine, and we're going to double it up and thread it through the top of our larger tag. Then we're going to pull the ends through and knot them. So once I have my little luggage tag here, I'm just going to pull those through, again, not leaving it super long, and we're going to trim that up nice and even. And I like that. That looks so good. I even think that this would be fantastic if you do art journaling or memory keeping or scrapbooking, any of those things. You could really utilize these tags in those kinds of projects very, very easily. Next, I'm taking some of the red hemp twine from Lawn Fawn, threading it through my small tag, my large tag, and then tying it into a little bow. Once we have our little bow in place, we're going to put some foam adhesive on the back of our tags. I want to kind of get them positioned how I want them to look first, and then we're popping them up. And I'm using the long, skinny foam adhesive from Simon Says Stamp. I love this foam so much. The backing is so easy to come off. I know that might sound like such a funny thing, but I love when I don't have to really pick and pull my backings off my foam tape. And then we're just going to kind of tilt them and pop them there in the sky. We'll do the same thing for our second card, and then we're going to add some gemstones. Using some of the Smoky Topaz gems from Spellbinders, I love these. They come on, they're self-adhesive gems, but what I love is these super teeny tiny ones. Actually, all of the sizes are really usable, but those teeny tiny ones, there is something about those that I just love. They come in tons of colors, and I highly, highly recommend them. Absolutely incredible. We're going to add a scattering of those just for a little touch of whimsy and sparkle. We'll glue each of these to white top fold card bases, and that is going to finish up our DIY travel themed cards today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these two brand new stenciled, stamped, and die cut cards. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thanks for watching!